Last weekend, I went on a camping trip to Twin Lakes State Park. This is the first camping trip I've made solo in 27 years. It had two purposes, really. One was to make sure that my old camping gear and some newer camping gear I purchased was going to work out okay. And the second, and really the more important one, was to make sure that everything I needed to take with me would fit in my bike bags that I have. And a couple things didn't fit, so the trip was successful. Now I just need to figure out how to repack so that everything does fit properly and I can take everything that I feel I need to have. I got camp all set up on Friday night, made dinner, got up the next morning, made breakfast, and was off on the trail. Okay, we're just, let's see, 0.2 miles away from High Bridge Trail. So this was a really fairly easy. There were some hills at the beginning, but it's been pretty flat, and I've been able to ride actually with no power assist. So that saves on the battery. And I think I'm at the trail already. Whoa! I see yellow blocks. Yep, this is it. Trail crossing. All right, I want to go left, I think. Yep. So I don't know if I was on this section or not when I rode the High Bridge before. I came to test my battery and see if I could do 60 miles, and I did, and it took 60% of the battery. And that was a good omen for my trip on the C&O. All right, so this is the High Bridge Trail. Nothing terribly exciting until we get to the bridge, which is high over the valley below, the Appomattox River. So we'll probably sign off here. And just in case my mic didn't work on the Insta360 because I forgot to turn on the Movo mic pair. This is a Shakedown camping trip. I drove my car, carried my bike, and had packed all my bags as though they were going to go on my bike. And first thing I learned was I need to reassess my packing because the bags would not accommodate my clothing. Not that I take a lot of clothing with me, but wouldn't accommodate them. Just two little compression bags. And though it took my cooking gear, it didn't take my food, which probably wouldn't be a problem if I were on a trip and I stopped to get food. I'd have to carry that probably in a little shopping bag on my back or in my front basket, maybe along with the Armorain motorcycle crash bag that fits perfectly in my front Velotric basket. So I've learned a couple things. Number one, a lot of I should haves, such as I should have remembered my water bottles, which are nice and cold in the refrigerator back at home. I did bring a cooler since I was driving my car, and I brought some Gatorade, 2 bottles of Gatorade and a Coke. And I drank the Coke last night for dinner and filled it with water this morning, and it was in the bag with ice last night, so it's probably gotten warm by now, but so I'm not without water while I'm riding, which would be bad. And the other should haves is I should have practiced putting my tent up before I left, because it's been probably about 2 years since I went camping with our son and son-in-law, and I did sleep in my tent, but when I was setting it up yesterday, I was trying to figure out how the poles fit on the tent, and it wasn't working. It turned out I wasn't trying to set up the tent. I was setting up the rain cover for the tent. So after about a half an hour plus, I realized that, and in total it took me probably 5 minutes to get the tent up with the rain cover on it. So lesson learned. Now I know. And hopefully I'll be doing this more frequently, so I'll remember. The other thing I learned was that it does pay to buy a good quality mattress. I bought one that wasn't cheap, but it didn't hold the air very well during the night, and the tent site is kind of crushed gravel, so not real soft. And some of the air escaped from the mattress, not all of it, so I still had some. But I did learn that, number one, the nice pillow I bought, blow-up pillow, was a welcome thing to have, and it rolls up into almost nothing. And the sleeping bag liner that I bought, that I don't think I've ever even used, I bought it years ago, fit nicely over the mattress. So even though the mat didn't stay fully blown up, at least the cover went on it, and that's what I laid on. And it was a warm night. I don't, probably 70s, or low 70s, maybe it went into the 60s, I don't know. But I have a quilt, that's a new purchase, instead of a sleeping bag. And it seems to be from watching videos, it seems to be the thing as an alternative to a sleeping bag. And I'm not gonna do any really cold weather sleeping. And the quilt, really just covers you and has a pocket for your feet. Oh, got a bug in my eye. And supposedly it snaps around or under the mattress. I didn't even try that because it was, by the time I got to bed, it was 10 o'clock or later, and it was pretty dark even with my lantern on. But it was very comfortable. Kept me nice and warm. And I usually put something on to sleep in other than the clothes I was wearing during the day. And in part, coming by car really wasn't a good test because I was able to put things in the car, store things in the car overnight, store things now in the car while I'm away, although that wouldn't be the case either if I were bike camping, because when I got back on the bike, it would be fully packed with everything. The campsite would be clear. But it's a good first long ride for 2026. I think between January and through the end of March, I think I got a total of 25 miles, which is really sad. Part of that was a battery issue, and part of it was just crazy weather here in Central Virginia. So this is a nice long ride. My Twin Lakes State Park campground into Farmville is about 18 miles, so it'll be a 36-mile round trip, so I'll get that in for the day. Gonna have lunch in Farmville, get back to the campsite this afternoon and try to figure out how I can pack a little bit more efficiently so everything fits, and determine what, although I don't think there's a whole lot I can leave out. The only thing, one thing I thought of was the comforter packs up really nice and, or fairly small, and it fits in one of the panniers along with the mattress. The mattress goes right in the bottom of the pannier. It's perfect. But I could take that comforter and bungee cord it down to the rear rack along with the tent. And I did have a little, also have a little camp chair, and I'm glad I got that. It really was nice. I bought some wood. I think it was $8 for 7 sticks of wood. And they're nice sized pieces. And I brought along some computer paper, since we don't get a newspaper anymore, and matches and everything. And I picked up some kindling around the wood bin and around the campsite. And I thought I had a fire started, but didn't work out. So I got a little bit more paper left. Let's see if I can scavenge up something here in Farmville so I can have a decent fire tonight. And although the weather was great yesterday and it's great today, it's supposed to rain tomorrow, 85% chance of rain. And I can't really tell whether it's starting at 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock, but it's supposed to, if it's 9 o'clock to into the afternoon. I got up this morning at 7, so if the rain's gonna start kind of mid-morning, I'll stay tonight, pack up early, and get out of here before everything gets wet. And if not, if it looks as though it's gonna start raining sooner or earlier, I'm gonna pack up tonight after I make dinner. As I said, this trail is flat with not a whole lot of interesting things except the bridge, which is quite interesting and quite fantastic. There's an overpass of I assume a road, not a railroad. So I'm gonna sign off right now, and I'll be back after we get close to something more interesting. All right, we have, what's it say? 5.1 miles to Farmville, and the high bridge itself is right up ahead of us here. We're approaching it. We'll leave the camera on for that. It's really quite a spectacular crossing. Afternoon. Hey there. So this bridge played a very important part in the Civil War. I won't try to go into all the details because you can look that up, but it's crosses the Appomattox, and so in 1854 the South Side Railroad was completed from Petersburg to Lynchburg. So Petersburg's east of here and Lynchburg is west of here. To cross the Appomattox River east of Farmville, High Bridge was constructed. Bridge is 2,400 feet in length and ranges from 60 to 125 feet in height. It was built on 21 brick piers. Wow. On April 6th and 7th, 1865, the bridges were of strategic importance to the armies of General Robert E. Lee and General Ulysses S. Grant, and preceded the surrender of General Lee and the end of the Civil War. Pretty cool. Well, Civil War wasn't very cool, but pretty cool bridge. Afternoon. So in a previous video when I rode this trail, I stopped and took videos of off to the north and south, I guess they are. Afternoon. You can see a little bit from this. probably should have my 360 camera up on its little stick. It's a little higher. I'll put a link to the previous video in your right-hand corner. Okay, we got some people here now. We're getting close to civilization. Afternoon. Afternoon. Unfortunately, it doesn't connect to Petersburg anymore, but that would be very cool. Maybe one day it'll be extended somewhat. Right away from landowners is a problem. Too bad when the railroad didn't. Afternoon, when the railroad actually closed down, it didn't really start on the trail right away. Afternoon. Okay, we're coming to the end up here of the bridge. And then it's on into Farmville. Afternoon. 4.5 miles to Farmville. On your left. Have a good day. All right, we are approaching Farmville. Actually, we're in Farmville. We're approaching one of the main streets. It's right around here where I had lunch before, and where I'm not going to have lunch today, I don't think. But try something different. Howdy. Hi.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to walk this across the street. Here's Farmville. I guess where number 11 is. High Bridge by trail. Yeah, up there in the upper right. And see what I want to do is find someplace where I can buy a newspaper. Okay, so this is Greenfront. That's right, Greenfront Furniture. It's a biggie here in Farmville. A lot of people come here to get their furniture. And this is Charlie's Waterfront Cafe, which is really nice. I guess it's down by water. Let's see what else is down here. Virginia Tasting Cellar. Huh, that's interesting. Here's some old buildings. And maybe just take a little tour of the city first. City, town, I don't know what this is. Hi. I take the trail up there, down a little further, it goes to another restaurant. But let's go up here. The Outdoor Adventure Store. So there's a trail. I'll take that, I'll come back and ride that to the restaurant, I think, unless I find something else up here. Walker's Diner, that'd probably be kind of cool. Hi, Uptown Coffee. Longwood University. So this is the home of Longwood University and Hampton, Sydney. Let's get out here in the street. All right, this has been a big circle. We're gonna go under this overpass, which is the trail. And we'll come right back up where we were. So I could go up there, but we're gonna go this way. So, O'Charlie's is right there to the left. Here we are. Now we're on the trail. O'Charlie's, you go inside and have to park the bike outside, and that's probably okay, but howdy. But I think here I can eat outside. If memory serves me correct, the restaurant is right here on the left. So this is the trail going west towards Lynchburg, ends in Pamplin. someone's brewing. Go get a brew. Hi. That's right. Yeah. Got a lot going on here. Returning to camp. Here's the office gift shop for Twin Lakes State Park's campground. And here's the entrance. The lake down there to the left. Here's the wood supply. $8 for 7 sticks. Here we are. Again, see any new people? Nobody was there this morning. Down to the tent sites, the predominantly tent sites. Here we are, home again at site number 10. There's some new people up there.